Hello, I am Tala Martelli and I am the new events manager for Arts Alive. Nice to meet you. With me I have the lovely Hannah Wood.
Hello.
And we are going to spend the next 20-25 minutes talking about her and her music. Do you want to kickstart by just telling us about yourself?
Alright. Yeah, as
Pretty
Tala
broad
said, I'm Hannah. And I'm a musician and also a software developer. And yeah, I work 4 days a week software developing, and then music is all of the rest of the time, pretty
Wicked.
much.
So you're judging my setup right now?
No, I don't know anything about hardware.
Oh yeah, fair enough, yeah. That's good, because this is very big tech.
Yeah, this is exactly what my YouTube videos are filmed like.
I saw your microphone in one of your YouTube videos and I was like, I need one of those.
Yeah, I always try and get it like out of shot, but then it doesn't really record the sound as well. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, it's gonna need to be in the shot.
Yeah,
And
I
then
quite like it.
there's some really weird angles sometimes as well, like when the mic looks really huge and I look really tiny.
Yeah, I saw some. I've seen them. I watched all your YouTube videos before we came. Good research. But yeah, I didn't know you were a software developer. That's so interesting.
Yeah, I work for a company called Riskaware, so we kind of do like different consultancy things, like environmental stuff and cybersecurity, and I'm doing the disease modelling side of things.
Wow,
so.
that's such a different. That's such a contrast to music.
I like to switch it up a bit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wow, there you go, software development and musician. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. I don't even know what I was saying.
You gotta tell us about your music. That's why we're all here
Yes.
listening.
So yeah, I've been like, I started writing and playing music when I was about 17, and then I got a guitar for my 18th birthday. And I kind of like dabbled in piano when I was a kid, but like, you know, kind of how everybody did, and they wished that they carried it on.
Yeah,
like everyone has that.
Yeah. Which grade did you make it to? Any of the grades?
No, well, so I did it in America because that's where I used to live,
Oh,
and they
wow.
didn't have like the same grading system. But I played at like recitals and stuff.
Wow. Okay, so you were
and I
much
really
better.
did enjoy it. But yeah, I don't know why. But like then when my family moved to Canada, I just kind of stopped, and then I never like picked it up again. And I kind of got into music again because I had like a lot of musical friends, so I jammed with them, and we like filmed YouTube covers, which like I unearthed recently, and it's so embarrassing. It's like me, it's like a 15-year-old just like singing with my friend, and we're like the first. To be fair, I was like, oh, it's not so bad actually, because I was like considering, I was thinking it was going to be really bad, like, but it was quite nice to reminisce. But there's one that I did with like 3 of my friends, All I Want for Christmas Is You, like on Christmas Day. And anytime it's like Christmas, one of us will send it to like the whole group, and we're like, oh man, remember this.
That's amazing. There's so many things I want to unpack there. Do you miss America is the first thing that came to mind.
I do, yeah, because there were things I really loved about growing up there, because like I was quite a tomboy growing up, so I really loved just like the nature aspect of it. We lived in Houston in Texas, so like it's just like surrounded by like wilderness as soon as you get out of the city, and like little towns that are super interesting. And we used to go like hiking loads, and it's the kind of place where you just walk outside into your garden and there's like a snake there.
Yeah.
Like,
that's insane.
I just loved like all of the wildlife there, and like raccoons and everything, like climbing over your fence. Like.
Yeah. I actually have seen a raccoon.
They're so cool.
I was in Mexico once and I saw that they were like attacking us for the food and stuff. They were actually really aggressive. Yeah, no, it was kind of scary actually.
Yeah, we're gonna get a taste for it.
Yeah. Human blood. No, it was scary, but yeah, that's amazing. How long have you lived in the UK then? Sorry.
So I was originally from the UK. I was born in London, and then we moved to Scotland when I was quite young. And then we moved to the States when I was like 7, and then Canada after that, and then I came back to the UK for uni. So
wow, you've been all over the shop.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad still lives in Canada, so it's
really?
nice we still get to go back and visit him. Well, obviously not with like the pandemic.
Yeah, no,
recently,
it's a bit mental for everybody.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Do you still go back to Houston a lot?
No, I haven't been in ages actually. I think like the last time that I went there was maybe about 7 years ago. I went back there with my dad, and we went to this place called Big Bend, and it's just like desert, and so we went hiking for just a whole like 4 days, and went running as well.
Wow, that sounds absolutely awesome. I've never been to the US, so I'm just completely in awe of the experience.
I love it. Like so every single state is just completely different.
Yeah,
and,
such a huge space.
It's just so interesting. It's such a beautiful place as well.
That is so cool.
But yeah, I do miss it. But yeah, it's kind of like when we moved to Canada, I didn't get to go and visit like that often. So then I kind of, a lot of my friends who lived there also moved away. So there wasn't like much of a reason to go back, I guess, like other than like a big trip to go hiking and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. Would you say your music is sort of inspired by like maybe like Americana folk and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it is, to be honest. Like, so my mum is a singer and she has like a really beautiful voice and she loves folk music, and so she's like Irish as well, so she like loves a lot of like Irish folk music. And I guess like when I got into jamming with my friends, then I also started jamming with my sister, who's also an amazing singer. Like her and my mum just have such beautiful voices, and I love singing with them. And then also my cousin started singing, so we kind of have this little trio where whenever we since we all live in different cities, we don't get together as often as we'd like, but every time we do, we just have like such a good jam. It's always really nice.
So you're from a very musical family then?
Yeah, like everyone either the ones who don't play it, like they listen to it. Like everyone loves music. So yeah, it's like a musical family. So my brother plays guitar as well, and yeah, he makes guitars too.
Does he? Oh my gosh. Is he any good?
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, he makes them out of like old cigar boxes, and yeah, it's really cool.
Wow, that's cool. Have you ever played one of his guitars? Like,
I've played one. No, I never have actually. I want to like commission him to make one for me, because like I think it'd be quite cool to like chat to him about the design and get something that's like really unique and like.
That'd be really interesting. We should get him on the next interview.
Yeah.
That'd be wicked. Well, the only person I know that makes guitars is a friend's brother, and he went to London. I want to say London Met, but I'm not sure. But he makes guitars and they're amazing.
Yeah,
but it's such an art. It's such a science and an art. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. So you've got the whole shebang going on. You can be completely self-sufficient with your family. Like have your own band, have your own music made for you. It's amazing. And then obviously you spoke about piano, but you haven't mentioned guitar. Did you always just play guitar?
So no, I just started playing it when I was 18, and I guess I kind of just started playing it because my friends did, and so like they'd teach me bits and pieces whenever we jam, and I was like, oh, it seems like the cool thing to do. So yeah, I just kind of like got into it through that really. But I would say like I mainly rely on my voice. Like the guitar is mainly like an accompaniment to things that I do. Like I would like to be better at guitar, but I think everyone would like to be.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would like to be able to play guitar. I'm sure when you can already play, you're slightly better. But yeah. So yeah, I actually want to talk to you about your originals, because I mean, we spoke about it earlier in the kitchen, obviously, but I was listening to your songs like before we came, because I didn't really know anything about you before. And I don't know anything about any of the artists in life really. Like I've come in this completely blind, and I just wanted you to talk to me a bit about your songs that you've got on YouTube that are your songs. Obviously your covers are awesome as well, but
yeah, the covers were quite nice, like lockdown project just to keep like occupied. But yeah, I've got like, I don't think I have many of my originals on YouTube, but I wrote one for a new song for Bristol, which was like a challenge that Bristol Beacon did. Yeah, which was really fun because it was like such a bleak time.
Yeah, I wonder if it was like lockdown inspired.
Yeah, it was nice to just be able to write something like, it's kind of, it's a bit more like folky than my usual stuff, and it's just like a bit happier as well than usual stuff. It
did kind of remind me of like a sort of, it was like ballady, not ballady, but it did kind of remind me of like a moment, like a monumentous moment in history, and then they'd all be like, all the folk people would be singing this song. It. That's how I felt when I listened to it.
Kind of like singing around a fire.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a revolution or something. Something's about to change. Like I sort of imagine, you know, when they protested like private land.
Yeah.
And they had the footpaths. I imagine them singing something like that when they were protesting the land. Yeah, it was really. It was a sort of very raw kind of sound. I wrote it all really quickly as well, like more quicker than I'd usually write, and so that was quite a different writing process for me as well, because I was like, I just wanted to like challenge myself to do something different and kind of be like, okay, can I write to just like this prompt, like just because I guess usually I'll come up with like a line and be like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be about, and then I just kind of jot down like bits and pieces over the course of a few weeks, and then kind of like keep lyrics that I like, and then the writing process is all a bit like loose and floaty, so I was like, let's try and make this a bit more. Did you like it more or less?
I don't know, like I think I really enjoy both processes, and
Yeah.
so I think it taught me that I just need to write more, like just to try and sometimes write that way, and then sometimes kind of allow myself to write the way I usually do, but like just to kind of challenge myself to write more, like just get the words out.
Yeah, no, totally. They always used to say. In fact, when I wrote my dissertation, they were like, "Just start writing. Literally, just start writing. It doesn't matter if you're not writing anything. Just write something, and then you can cut it out." I was like, "That's a really good point," because it's true. Once you start the process, it kind of just all flows, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think like I get quite critical if I don't. If the less I'm writing, the more critical I am of what I'm writing.
Yeah.
And I think that it just takes ages to squeeze out songs that way, because, and then sometimes when I get to the end, I'm still just like, oh, I don't know, this feels like it's not really like genuine to what I was feeling at the time, because I've like gone back and edited it so many times.
Yeah, no, totally. I suppose they kind of grow with you though, don't they, when you do like that? It's sort of like it develops. Although the problem is it could just keep developing forever. And then
Yeah.
A lifelong project, yeah. I suppose, are you happy with your originals that you've got out there? Are they
Yeah,
they
I'm
feel
really
done to you?
They do, yeah, the ones I've put out there, because then like the one I wrote on ukulele, which is like one of the only songs I've written on ukulele, was when my boyfriend and I were like in a long distance relationship.
Yeah, is that Coffee?
Yes, yeah, that's Coffee. So again, that was another one that was like slightly different to my writing style, because I wrote it for him for Christmas, like, so it was the first song I wrote like as a present, and also something that I wanted to like sound happy.
Yeah, no, it was very happy. I was listening to it and I sort of felt, you remind me of Lucy Rose, but like a happy.
Oh, I love Lucy Rose.
You remind me of Lucy Rose, but like a happy version of Lucy Rose, if you know what I mean. Like you have similar kind of, like a similar sounding voice. You have even kind of a similar look, like from like when she was.
Her hair's sort of like this as well.
Yeah, you're very like sort of strawberry blonde. Got the fringe, but yeah. It's like indie folk music that's got a really light pitch, but yours is definitely happier, I would say.
It makes me really happy that I love Lucy Rose. Like,
she's so cool.
She's so good.
She's so cool. She was in Bombay Bicycle Club, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember following her for ages, and I was just like, oh, she's so cool. But yeah, you do remind me a bit of her. Like, that's great. Good. I'm glad that you like her, because I was thinking, should I say that? Should I not say that? Like, what if you don't like her? But it's good that you do.
Yeah, I always like I get concerned about doing that, because I remember like one time I said to a friend, I was like, oh, your voice like really reminds me of the tones of this artist, and then she was like, oh really? Like I don't really like her stuff. And I was like, oh, I really do, and that's why I thought it was like a compliment. Yeah. And I was like, oh no. I'm probably not going to say that again.
Yeah, no, you've got to be really careful with that kind of thing. That's why I was like biting my lip, and I thought, she's still a great artist, it doesn't matter.
She is, yeah.
You know, it's subjective if you like her, but she's still great at music.
Yeah,
but yeah,
amazing.
I do actually, Coffee, that's Coffee, your song. It was released on my 19th birthday, or at least you put it on your Instagram on my 19th birthday. I was like, January the 20th, 2018, I was 19 on that day. And I wanted to share that with you. And I love the song, I listened to it so many times. It's so pretty, it's such a nice song. But yeah, what was the process of putting that together? Because obviously you said it was a gift.
Yeah, so I basically like wrote the first verse, and then I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna write this for my boyfriend like as a Christmas present, but then I didn't finish it in time for Christmas.
Oh.
Because I wanted it to be happy, and then I kind of felt like the original second verse that I wrote was just a bit too focused on like, oh, we live so far away, rather than being like, oh, it's like so nice when we do get to spend time together, and like making it have a bit more of a positive undertone rather than just being like, oh, this is hard.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. And then obviously you've got Blue Song.
Yes. Yeah, so that was
in the middle.
That is about mental health, basically. It's kind of like about trying to just like challenge yourself to, because I think like we all have days where we get like really wrapped up in negative thought processes.
Totally.
And like sometimes you can do that so much that you just feel like you almost can't even leave the house. And so that's kind of like where the lyrics come into it, where like it's like there's a whole world out there, and like even because I think like I get really wrapped into like my own world and like my own things that I'm feeling and thinking, but then you sort of forget that there's so many other like storylines, there's so many other lives like out there, and there's like just so many things you can like invest yourself into. And so yeah, this song is kind of, it was like a reminder to myself to do that, like even when like
I just have to deal with that because it's going to die and it keeps making noise and it's really annoying. Sorry, carry on. Sorry. It kept going and I was like,
I saw it like change screen. I was like, oh,
my setup's falling apart. Sorry, carry
on. But yeah, like it's just kind of like about challenging yourself to question those negative thought patterns and just kind of like remind yourself that you are like a person who feels many different things, and that the way you're feeling on that day is not how you're going to feel forever. And like there's so many like things that are still possible, and so many things that you can like distract yourself with. And and just kind of being also like to just offer a bit of comfort as well, like if people, because I think that it kind of, writing it comforted me, and so I just kind of hope that if people feel that way sometimes, then like listening to it might comfort them as well.
Was this like a product of lockdown as well?
No, this was like, I wrote this quite a long time ago actually, like when I first graduated from uni, and I just like didn't really know what I was like doing with my life.
Yeah, I know that. I know exactly what that feeling is.
Yeah, because people don't really like warn you about that. It's all like, okay, like decide what you want to do, go to uni to study for that, and then there's not really like much direction after that. And then you kind of feel like you're supposed to have worked it all out, and like I didn't really feel like I had. So
did you do software development at uni, or software related stuff, or did you do music? Or did you do something else?
So I did engineering maths, and we did like some software stuff, but not really like a lot of it. So yeah, I kind of like, we did like introduction to it, and a lot of people went on to do software from my course. So I was kind of like, I don't know, I was finding it like challenging to get a job in software, because most of them were like, oh, have you done computer science? And then I was like, no. And so they were like, okay, well, why are you applying?
Oh, right, it's one of those things you need experience to get a job. But
and I kind of felt like I didn't even know whether I wanted to do it. So I was like, this is so hard, and also like I don't even know whether it's like what I want to do. So I just kind of felt like a bit lost, really. And
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I'm there. I'm living it.
It's a difficult time.
And then all through that, you were just doing your music on the side?
Yeah, that's when I really got back into music again. Because I was like, I moved back in with my mum and up in Chester, and I worked as like a waitress there, and like made some. I didn't. I wish that.
Sorry.
To really fulfill the song. But yeah, I worked there in a place called The Architect, and I made some really good friends there, which was like really nice, because it kind of felt like because I moved straight from Canada, and I didn't want to move back to Canada, and also like I just didn't even have like the right visas and stuff to move back there to be able to like move back and work. I just kind of like felt like I didn't have a base, but then making those friends in that job like really made Chester feel a bit more like home, because obviously my mum was there and she was really settled, but like I would go out and hang out with like her friends who were already nice, but I was like, I feel like I need to also find some friends my own age.
Oh wow.
So it kind of it made me feel a bit more like at home there. And it was really good, because then in that time like I got back into music again, and again made other music-y friends that I would like play open mics with, and living with my sister again as well was really nice, because then we got to go and do some open mics and sing together again. So I properly got back into it, because I hadn't done it at all in uni. Like I was just too stressed. I left it too long.
You must have had your degree must have been so time consuming.
I just remember like feeling guilty even like taking an evening off. Like I just felt like because I lived with people in my course in the last 2 years of the course as well, so everyone, I think it was like it got like quite competitive sometimes, not in a way where everyone was like, oh, I'm doing better than you, but it was like everyone else would be working really hard, so you'd always feel like you had to be also working really hard.
Yeah, no, completely. I lived with a lot of people who were sort of, I did English lit, so I literally had 10 contact hours a week, and I didn't do anything, basically. So yeah, I understand like feeling guilty when you live with like a medic and an aerospace engineer, and you're like, I do nothing. But yeah, that must have been so stressful. Especially,
it was really intense.
Especially because music is also quite stressful and time consuming when you like pursue it as a career.
Yeah, and I think like the reason why I stopped was because I'd had like a stressful like 3 months where I was like writing exams, and then I kind of felt like really out of practice. Like anytime I just wanted to pick up the guitar and like play a few things and just like sing like songs, I'd forgotten all the songs that I knew. I hadn't written in a while as well, so I felt out of practice with that, and also just like I felt like I couldn't play guitar very well, so it became like not fun. If I'd just be like, oh, I have like half an hour to practice, I'll just like play, then it just wasn't fun. And so I think like that put me off for a couple years really, and so it was really good like after uni to have that time to properly get back into it again.
Do you read music for guitar, or do you learn? I don't really know.
No.
How does it work?
I like have very basic sight reading skills from when I played piano, but like that's it's very limited. It's just like, oh, here's middle C, like, okay, where are all the notes like from there? So it would take me like a long time to work out like what everything.
You can't just like look and stuff.
No. But I usually just look up tabs and like chords and stuff and
figure it out.
Sometimes when I'm writing, I just kind of play what sounds good rather than any chords.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Can you like, could you repeat a song that you hear? Could you do it by ear?
Sometimes it depends. Like, I think again, that's like quite basic. Like if it's in standard tuning, then I could like pick it up. But if it's anything more complicated than that, then I would not. If it was like a different tuning, I would not be able to. I'd be like, why can't I make it sound the same?
Yeah, of course. I didn't even think about that. You do have to tune the guitar, don't you? Oh, there's so many elements that I need to learn about to be able to interview musicians that I don't actually know about at the moment. But wow. That's so cool. Have you ever thought about working on piano and bringing it into your stuff? Or
I have thought about it. Yeah, like, and in so the EP that I was telling you about before that I'm releasing, I've played like little bits of piano, but like really limited. And it was just quite nice to even do those little bits, and it made me think that I do want to get back into it. But I kind of feel like I should have done that over the lockdown, because like
now you have to go back to it. It was hard just to figure out like what life was about during that lockdown. Don't worry about it if you didn't actually do anything that productive. Although you did, you got the songs out and stuff. It was
that was like I recorded demos of like all of my songs and then like chose what ones I wanted to put on an EP. So I guess like that was quite time consuming, but I did find that I just had so much time, because like, you know, when you're not even allowed to see friends or anything, you just have all this time suddenly.
It's just almost too much thinking time. You just find yourself, you can't do anything because you're just paralysed by your thinking. That's what I found anyway.
I think that I did find that, and then I got like the whole, like, I think it's like a buzzword, like lockdown fatigue thing. Like a few months in, I was like, whoa, this like, how long is this gonna go on for?
I know exactly what you mean. I feel like that's a universal. We can all relate to that.
I think like as soon as the novelty went off, you were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Completely.
And I was working from home the whole time as well, so I was like, that was really, I enjoyed the novelty of that for like the first couple months, and then it just got like really samey. Like I had to start like going for walks at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, just to trick myself into thinking it was like a commute.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, I was crammed into like a 3-bedroom house with all 5 of my family. Like we were all together. I slept on the floor for like, I don't know how long lockdown was. I don't even know how long it was anymore. I was probably there for like 4 months.
You lose track of time as well. Like,
wow, I wake up every day on the floor like, is this what my life is now? Because our house is being like renovated as well. So it's just like, this is rubbish. But yeah. Sorry, back to music. Stop talking about my woes. I don't know what else I want to ask you. Is there anything else you could tell me about your music?
I guess with the EP, that's
the
like
EP,
the main exciting news right now, because I feel like I spent so long recording demos just like in this blanket fort that I made in my room, and I recorded all these songs, and it was like so funny as well.
Sound?
I always recorded like the vocals in there, and like sometimes I'd be in there like recording and it would like fall down on me.
Wow. I love it. I love how like B-Tech this whole thing is so far. It's so much fun. I've got a great image of you just in this like fortress of blankets, just with a microphone.
Yeah, it was quite fun. Like, but I guess the thing, we live in quite a noisy neighborhood. We live like right in the middle of it in St. Paul's, and so it's just like, every now and then, like, someone would just be, like, yelling outside, and I'd be like, that wouldn't be picked up on my microphone, would it? Surely. And I'd look, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, that whole argument, like, from outside got picked up on there, can do that again. And then someone would, like, start, like, trimming their lawn or something, or, like, blowing leaves around, I'd be like, okay.
Blanket fortress time.
A bus would go by, and I'm like, that picked up as well.
I have exactly the same thing in my room, because it's it's like obviously I say the high street, it's the main street, it's not this side.
It's just non-stop. Like.
We always have people walking up and down at like 3 in the morning, like screaming at each other. Just like, no, don't do that. It's not okay. This is residential. But yeah, it's just insane. It must be so hard when you're recording.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Like I have to choose really weird times to record.
Yeah, like what kind of time?
Like I kind of find that early in the morning is the best. Like, so usually there's still like some fights from people on nights out, like at 6 a.m, 7 a.m. But if you wake up at like 8 a.m, like no one has woken up yet. Yeah, no one. The buses, like there's not many buses going. Like if you do that on a weekend, So I've kind of like found that the best time is like Sunday 8 a.m.
I was gonna say something.
That's like best time for recording.
Yeah, worst time to get a bus and go to work.
Yeah.
Luckily it's a Sunday. But yeah.
And sometimes like Mondays are good. So Monday is the day that I don't work in my software development job, and so yeah, like that's quite good. Like lunchtimes at Monday, like it's pretty quiet like throughout that whole day, and I think like the Mondays have been like essential for me in getting like all of the demos done, because otherwise like I think, you know, on Sundays, like weekends, you kind of usually have like plans and stuff. So like having Monday and Sunday was like so good in actually getting all of this done, because I'd kind of like, I'd kind of chosen which songs I wanted on my EP, but like not really, because I don't know, I hadn't really heard like good recorded versions of them.
Okay.
And so I really wanted to get all of them recorded before I decided, and I'm glad that I did that, because I did end up changing my mind. So, but it just kind of felt like that was never going to happen, because I was like trying to get through like 16 songs, and so like it just took like, because also I've not really done like sound engineering, so I was just like picking up things from YouTube videos and being like, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. I do a whole recording thing and be like, okay, I think that's all right. And then I'd like go to like the processing phase, and it's like, oh no, like the vocals were way too loud. They like peaked in this one bit that I thought was fine, because I didn't listen back to the whole thing.
So you've done this whole thing yourself?
Well, so no.
Oh, okay.
I basically wanted to narrow it down to the songs that I wanted to record, and then I kind of did some mixing and and stuff like on those songs, just to get them to like an okay standard. And then I sent them to my friend Jack, who's a sound engineer. He's really good. And then also my friend Mauricio, who's a mixing and mastering engineer. So basically I recorded all of the songs with Jack. His band like spent the whole first lockdown preparing the studio, and they like put so much work into it. And then they basically only got to use it for like, I think like about a year was like how long they had it. And then the whole building, which is like a big creative space, they just got like a month's notice to all leave, and it's getting turned into flats, which is like happening with so many Bristol creative spaces right now, and it's such a shame.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
I didn't realise I thought they were just like old buildings that they were.
Well, they kind of are old buildings,
but
and then
used,
they kind of, and then they get used as like kind of like co-ops and creative spaces, and there was like, he was saying that one guy had been teaching music out of like a room that he rented there for like the past 15 years, and he just got like a month's notice to move out.
That's
so
awful.
We kind of it's really terrible, and we got like 2 of the songs recorded in there. And then this all happened, and so we didn't get the second 2 in there, so there was like a bit of a gap between recording, but then he managed to like find another room that we could use, and we recorded the rest of them there. And so it was like really fun to work with him. And then I'm really happy with like the way the recordings have turned out, and right now the guy who's mixing and mastering them, he's just like going through them, and he's like sending me like the kind of the first few passes of them, and I'm really happy with the way they're sounding.
That's so good.
He's always like, oh yeah, is there any feedback? And I'm like just tiny comments, like nothing major.
That is so nice. I bet that feels like a real achievement.
Yeah.
I
Considering that like this time last year I was like, I can't do it. I can't record all the demos. Yeah, because it just kind of felt like every time I would set up, then like, because then there was also loads of construction in our neighbourhood, so I'd like set up on my Sunday time, and then like the scaffolders would be like next door like throwing like metal
so
around,
selfish.
and I was just like, oh man, I didn't even know they were going to be here on a Sunday.
I swear, they always. I thought builders didn't work on the weekends, but I'm pretty sure when there was work being done on the street, that they were like only here on the weekends. I don't know, maybe they have like special Sunday scaffolders that come in or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's
the name
it
of the company.
So how many songs are on your EP then?
So there's 5 songs on the EP, and I recorded.
Any of them these?
No, they're all
completely
different
new.
ones.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all different ones, yeah.
That is so exciting, I can't
And
wait.
a lot of them are ones I wrote in lockdown, like the first one and the last one are both lockdown ones, and then one of them was written just before it, and then one of them was like written about 5 years ago, but I felt like it kind of fit in well with the theme of it, so I wanted to put it
That's something I actually want to ask you, because obviously I was looking at your originals more than your covers, and there was like quite a space between Coffee and then your later 2. And I wanted to ask like how you think your music has developed in that time, because it has a very strong kind of style, I would say. I wonder like how you feel about like when you compare them, or when you think about.
It's kind of like, I guess, so my mum got me a loop pedal for Christmas a few years ago, and I think that's really heavily influenced my writing style, because I've thought more about like the structure of the songs and how like the harmonies can kind of build up. And also it's just like really fun to write on a loop pedal because like, and I love watching other people perform on it because you just don't know what's like coming next, and you don't know like, and it just builds to such a nice level in the song.
And it kind of, you can kind of make it sound like there's multiple people. Just it does add a lot of body to the song.
It does, yeah. So I guess like the title track on the EP was written on the loop pedal originally, so it's kind of like got this like, this like building feel, which is very different from the songs that I've just written like on the acoustic guitar. But yeah, I think like, so my friend Paul taught me like a lot of really good guitar techniques. He's like, he busks quite a lot in Broadmead, and he does like really cool like percussion on guitar. And so yeah, he taught me a few of those techniques, and I feel like that's really influenced my writing style because I've realised you can just do like a lot more like rhythmically with the guitar that I didn't know you could do before. Hitting it and stuff. Yeah, and it's kind of made me think a lot more about like the way that I write the guitar in the songs. Like I think the guitar was always an afterthought, but then sometimes now it will start with like a little guitar riff. Oh wow! Which is really different from what I usually do.
I can see what you mean. Yeah, it does kind of add an extra element.
Music.
I remember once seeing Elliot Morris. Have you ever heard of Elliot Morris?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him, I think at Summer Sunday when I was like 11.
Oh, wow.
And he did this amazing sort of like percussion guitar riff like at the start of one of his songs because he's very like kind of picky and then strumming and plays his music.
He's an amazing guitarist.
And there was this this one song that I can't find anywhere now. I used to have it on my iPod, like on my, because I used to have an Apple, but now I've just got Spotify, and it's literally unavailable everywhere.
Oh no!
I thought about emailing him, being like, Elliot Morris, can you please send me this song? But I didn't do that, obviously. Maybe I should. I'm working towards it. But yeah, no, but I really love that style of music. That kind of, it's so cool.
And I really like, I would say I'm like a beginner with it, but I'm like trying new things like all the time, and I'm like really like it did motivate me to just actually practice guitar more, and like it made me excited about guitar again, which like I'm really grateful for. I'm really happy about.
Now you're kind of looking at the guitar as like less of an accompaniment and more of like a staple piece. That's really cool.
Yeah, which has taken a long time to get to.
Yeah. Do you have any favourite songs on your EP?
I think
what is your favourite? Obviously you can't. Can you tell us anything about your EP?
I can tell you that the title track is Violet Haze.
Violet Haze, cool.
And that the themes are just kind of like about growing up and just in general being a bit confused about like the world.
Okay. It's also like coming of age kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. And kind of like, just realising that the world is really weird, and like things that you thought when you were a kid actually like just don't apply.
No.
And people are really complex, and just nothing like is.
I think I'm gonna love this. I feel like it's covering a lot of themes right now that I'm going through. That sounds amazing. Sorry, but Violet Haze isn't your favourite.
I think that, so listening to what the producer has sent me, I think right now it is. But like also I think that I'm really excited to see, because two of the songs I haven't heard like what he's done with them yet. I've only heard like the first kind of like pass of 3 of them. So I'm really excited to see the way that they turn out, because the first one is like an a cappella track with like a little bit of percussion, which I got my boyfriend to record, like just some like clicks, and, like things like that in the blanket fort.
Amazing. I can't wait for that one. I'm gonna email you as soon as I hear that one and be like, I can hear the clicks. That's beautiful. I love it.
But so I'm really excited to see how that what that sounds like when it's actually mixed and
That is so. And you said earlier that you didn't know when it was going to be released.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet, but I think I'm hoping to get it like the single from it, the first single. I'm hoping to get that released like mid to late November, because I want to get this out like before the end of the year. Okay. Just because I kind of feel like I recorded the demos for so long, and this was like the long game target that I gave for myself.
Oh wow, So when did you start recording the demos?
I think probably around this time last year.
Wow.
And then there was like, because of lockdowns and everything, there was like a while before Jack and I could get into the studio, and then when we had like a date booked, then he caught COVID, so it was kind of like just loads of like things like that in the studio. No. We got there eventually.
That's amazing. It's been such a journey then. That's so cool. And then obviously you're so Hannah is going to be playing with us Arts Alive at Hall Pass Bar on the 20th of November. Definitely come check it out. Will your single be out before then, do you think?
Hopefully, yeah.
So you might be bringing it to concert.
Yeah.
Oh my
And I
gosh,
think like
that's
even
amazing.
if I haven't released it yet, I'll still play it. So it'll be like a sneak
Lush.
peek.
Okay, we'll definitely come then because I'll be there and it'll be great. But yeah, so yeah, that I think is everything.
Nice.
Unless there's anything more to say.
No, I feel like I just chatted.
That was
you.
beautiful. I loved it. This has been. I mean, I was saying to Hannah earlier that I was super nervous about doing this, as anybody who knows me can probably tell. Yeah, anyone who knows Hannah, I'm sure can tell you might know this as well. We were just talking about how this is sort of like a first thing, and we've thrown it all together. But it's been great. I've really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
It's been
so
so lovely
much.
talking to you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. And hopefully we'll do another interview when we're both less nervous and we know what we're doing.